Hey everybody, it is John, and I just wanted to talk a little bit here about a huge kerfuffle I almost had with TSA just a little bit ago. So thought I'd clue you in on that. I'm flying home from Detroit right now. I'm waiting for my flight. I fly Southwest everywhere I go because they're awesome with check firearms, awesome with bag fees and all that stuff, and they're on time. So we are, rolling home, right? So. Um, Detroit's a little different than some airports in that in a lot of places, like at home in Phoenix, they take your bag immediately over to TSA, and then the TSA agent does the inspection and all that stuff. But at any rate, we went over to at Detroit instead. They just take your bag and put it on the conveyor, and it goes over to TSA, and they say, hey, if they have any problems, they'll call you back. So I went through security, got through security real easy, didn't have any problems with even with my ankle IFAC, with a set of Raptors and all those things. And then sat over on this side for a little while and heard, hey, John Correa returned to the TSA, returned to Southwest. And I was like, oh boy, there's got to be a problem with my firearms. Um, Now, understand, I have two bags. I have a bag that's got my dirty clothes in it, and a second bag that is nothing but a firearms case. So it's got, it's in a Nook case that they sent to me for testing, and I've been using it for a while. It's great, and it is locked legally. So if you go read 49 CFR 1540.111 Charlie, it says that the locks can't be TSA approved locks on your gun case itself. They have to be a non TSA approved lock. You keep the lock, the only person to retain the key. So, okay, so I came back to there. They took me over to TSA, and the TSA agent, real quick, I was frustrated because I'm like, man, what are they doing? This gun's packed correctly, whatever. And then I was, just praying as I was walking back. Took me a minute, and I got just reminded, dude, be nice, right? Be kind. There's no reason not to be a decent human being. And kindness goes a long way. I was talking about verbal judo in our church security class yesterday. So we're sitting there, and I get to them, and I'm like, "Hey guys, how are you? Whatever." And they're like, "Hey man, we need your key in order to get into your case because they need to inspect it. They couldn't see something on the X-ray or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I have to retain the key. The law says I have to retain the key. So you can take me to the bag, or you can bring the bag to me, and I'm happy to unlock it for you so you can inspect it and then lock it back up." They're like, well, I mean, it's in a secure area. Like the guy's like, it's in a secure area. And I was like, well, you got to understand. So if I can't go back to there, then by all means, bring the case to me. I'll open it up in your presence, whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, that's not how we do things. And I said, man, look, I'm just following the law. Again, 49 CFR 1540.111 Charlie says I have to have the only retained key. Can't be TSA. So if I hand it to you, I haven't retained the key. I'm breaking the law, and I'm not going to do that. And so and he was like, all right, let me call supervisor. Yeah, no problem, man. I get it. You're doing your job, whatever. You're doing what you're trained to do. I'm not trying to say you're the enemy or anything like that. And he was like, all right, cool. So he wasn't giving me a hard time, but of course he wasn't doing what I asked him to do. And now here's where it gets kind of funny. Um, so the TSA supervisor came out, and as he came out, he looked at me, and his eyes kind of got a little wide. He was like, "Hey, Mr. John, what are you doing?" He came over and shook my hand because he's a fan of the big YouTube channel. He's like, "Hey, man, what's going on? What are you doing? You flying with guns today?" And I said, "Hey, how are you?" His name was Thomas. I said, "Hey, Thomas, nice to see you," and shook his hand and said, "Yeah, apparently they want to look at something in there." And he's like, "Man, what's going on with that? Whatever." He goes, "Yeah, it's down in a secure area, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to follow the law, man. I got to follow the law just like you do. So I appreciate your help, but bring the case over to me, or bring me to the case, and I'm happy to open it for you. But I can't give you the locks." And so he's like, "All right, let me see what I got." And he called down to his agent, and she brought it up, and we unlocked the case and popped it open. And they only wanted to look. I don't know exactly what they wanted to look at, but I was like, yeah, I mean, it's packed correctly and all that stuff. And they were inside that case for, gosh, 20 seconds or so. We locked it back up, and they took it back, and they were on their way. So, and then I got a selfie with him. I actually put it up on the Instagram account just for people to see that, because he was kind, and the everybody was okay. So a couple things. Number one, we didn't have to worry about people being nasty. I could have been ugly. You know what I mean? I could have been, rah, 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 you guys are jerks, and then we would have had a fight, right? And was I correct? Yes, but you can win Pyrrhic victories doing that like crazy. But secondly, instead, I was just kind and like, hey, man, I get it. You're trying to do your job. I'm trying to do my job. I just want to get home with my stuff. So how can we fix this? Because I'm trying to follow the law. And because of that, they brought me the case. We were able to do what they needed to do. They saw what they needed to say. And of course, my uh, we can my stuff was packed correctly. So they can look in there all they want, and it's packed correctly. And then we all went on our way. And then I went back through security. And thankfully, I got here early enough. So here's another thing. Number one, I came to the airport early enough for if there to be problems, we had enough time to go back outside and then to go back through security and all that stuff. So that happened, and that's good. Secondly, I was kind when things went wrong, and that helped immensely. And third, a YouTube celebrity has its perks. So all those things to say, be kind to everybody and do your best. These folks are just doing their job as well. You might say, hey, they don't know what they're doing or they don't know the law very well. Well, they don't see firearms every minute of every day. And so, being kind to them when they don't know is important as well. When you have a hard time at your job, when people are nice to you, guess what? You appreciate it when they're nice to you. So be nice to others. Be professional. Third, I knew the law. Okay, so there's another one. Know the law. I knew exactly where it was, and I looked it up on my phone again for them to see 49 CFR 1540.111 Charlie says exactly what the regulations are, how I travel with a checked firearm. And I knew that. And if you don't know it, you can just Google it, and it's on the TSA website. You can read the Code of Federal Regulations. I think I looked it up on Cornell's law website and showed it to him. Hey, man, I have to retain the key. It says that I have to retain the key. The key must be retained by the passenger and by the passenger alone. So knowing the law is important. And anytime you're dealing with firearms, anytime you're dealing with concealed carry, you better know the law. You better know 100%. And so with all that in mind, everything came out cool, right? And I still had plenty of time to get back this way. And guess what? We haven't boarded yet, so I've still got extra time. I was sitting here watching a little bit of the football games and enjoying a soda water because I'm still trying to kill the fat guy. And I got 40 pounds to go. And yeah, so things are pretty good. We had a great weekend this weekend in Detroit, had some great classes and met some great people and did some cool stuff. 2 weeks, we will be in at Tallgrass Shooting Sports in Kansas. You can check those events out on the Facebook page in the events tab. And then in November, we will be at Frisco Gun Club in Frisco, Texas, Dallas area. And then that will be the last Survive the Fight tour for 2018. So if you want to train with us, those are the last couple places you can do it live. And otherwise, we'll see you on the tubes, guys. Hope you have a great day. Hope you recognize this as a reminder of a couple things: to know the law, to be kind, give yourself enough time, and to fly appropriately. And Kalash the Bear asked about to fly out of DFW via American Airlines. Any tips for checking firearms? Man, American is a pain with checking firearms. I am not a big fan. It's one of the reasons I fly Southwest. I would recommend keeping some trauma shears on you because they'll probably zip tie your bag. And that's one of the big ones. Is just keep some trauma shears, which short trauma shears can get through security on this side. And then that way, when they zip tie your bag, you can cut those off when they do that. So anyways, that's enough for me for today. Hope you guys have a great day. Make sure that you know the law. Make sure that you're kind when things aren't going quite right. Give yourself enough time and know how to travel with firearms. And you can do it no problem. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great